Hello everyone, welcome to Real Reds Talk, a fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your preview for the game against Everton in the FA Cup tomorrow night. Now the games are coming thick and fast. We are still in 4 competitions and Erik ten Hag will be keen to get his hands on a trophy in his first season, which would be an incredible as well as a top 4 finish. But from 4 competitions to 2 commentators, we have Chive and Sam on the show tonight. Lads, give me your favourite FA Cup memory, if you can, as it is the FA Cup we are playing in.
Do you want to go first, Sam?
Yeah, Ryan Giggs' goal. That's my favourite memory.
Oh,
Yeah,
Arsenal, of course.
Shirt whipping
classic.
off,
Ooh,
hairy
yeah.
chest. That was.
Was it
that's
more
something.
the hairy chest and the whipping off the shirt?
Yeah, I just wanted to stroke the chest and just yeah. That's my favourite goal. That stands. When you say FA Cup and Man United, that first memory that comes into my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chive.
This is going to be so cliche because I'm Marshall FC.
Semi-final.
Yeah, but listen. I'll tell you why that was special, because I was having this conversation with someone like a week ago, and we're talking about crying, and I was like, I haven't cried in years, and I was like, the closest I ever came to crying was when Martial scored, and she was laughing. She was like, "What?" Yeah, literally, when he scored that goal, like I had tears like in my eyes because we really needed a trophy then, and just the whole thing, the way it happened, it was like the dying minute, and then Herrera, he does the 1-2 with Rashford, and then gives it to Herrera, and Herrera scores it, and I just went mental, honestly. So yeah, that's in recent memory, that's one of my favorite. But I'm sure there's loads. I just can't remember. Picking
Jesse Lingard against Crystal Palace, the volley, very good finish. He had the
final.
Yeah, the final. Yeah. Antonio Valencia.
Only major contribution he played to Man United, Jesse Lingard.
That's harsh.
That's all he has.
And you also had a certain decision against more recent times. Last year, you remember a certain decision against Middlesbrough? Obviously, not a great memory. It's
the handball, yeah. And then was it the week before, the week after? The City, it was called or something like that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's fine, but not having it.
Yeah. Most blatant handball you've ever seen in your life.
That decision was just
shocking, wasn't it? Absolutely shocking. Let's hope we don't get any more decisions like that tomorrow night. Anyone who is watching currently, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. We're getting close. I think we're 10 off 900 subscribers.
9 now. 9 now.
We're 9.
891.
Okay, so we're currently 9 off 900, so if you can help us achieve that goal, that would be absolutely incredible, and thank you for the continued support you show to the channel. We all really appreciate it. We start all our previews off with a couple of warm-up questions. One of the warm-up questions is absolutely gone now because Chive has just described it, basically, one of the questions I had with Anthony Martial in the previous game with Everton, so that's chalked off, but I've still got a couple of questions for you. Lads, how many times have we won the FA Cup?
12.
13.
12. Sam, straight off the bat there.
Yeah.
Ding! Who has won the most FA Cups?
Arsenal.
Yeah, of course, Timmy knew that. Of course he knew that. How many, do you know?
It hurts him every day.
14, I think.
14. Correct. But we're only a couple off, so who knows? Maybe we get one this year, and you never know what happens. Of course, we are playing Everton tomorrow night. Struggling Everton side, to say it the best when it comes to league form. They have recently slipped into relegation spots, but as we know, cup competitions can be completely different and can be used as an outlet for certain players as well. Like we mentioned at the start, Erik ten Hag will be really keen to get his hands on a trophy this season. He knows how important it is for momentum and a winning mentality, but I don't think there's going to be any sympathy from his part, considering Everton's form at the minute. Like, they are an absolute car crash at the minute, and I'm sure probably Lampard feels the same. He's going to want to win a trophy, but their absolute priority at the minute is the Premier League, because they are really struggling in there. Did any of you lads watch the game against Brighton the other day, the 4-1 loss?
I saw the highlights, but I didn't watch the full game.
I watched it back the other day. They was all over the place defensively. They was absolute shit, and I feel like similar to Bournemouth, in that vein, we can take advantage of that and exploit it with our attackers, because some of our attackers are in good form at the minute. So that is definitely something we can look at we know a team like Everton are going to look to be organised. They're going to hit us on a transition. They've got players like Iwobi, Onana, these kind of guys in midfield who can shake it up. Very physical players, but I think our quality in the end will show through. And it is a home game at Old Trafford, so I'm feeling pretty confident. We're in good form at the minute. Sam, how are you feeling going into this one?
Yeah, it's probably the perfect team to play in it at the minute. Like the only other team you could think, we should play them is Southampton because they're equally as shit at the minute.
Even worse, probably. Saying
yeah, so they're the sort of two teams you'd be like, if you want to get drawn against somebody in the FA Cup, probably go with them. If you're going to get a Premier League team, obviously you'd like a lower league opposition. But yeah, I don't rate Frank Lampard as a manager. I think he's a terrible manager. And it's being shown now. Everybody gave him plaudits for not getting promoted with Derby, and he was getting praise and stuff like that, and then somehow got the Chelsea job on the back of that.
Just a name,
bizarre.
Just a name in it.
Fucking bizarre, man. You didn't even get Derby promoted, and it was weird. And you saw what Wayne Rooney did with the state of Derby that they were in, He could
be next in line. I don't know if he was going to get onto that next, but
maybe. But he performed miracles with that team, and they were they couldn't buy players, they couldn't register players, they had no money, they didn't know who the owners was, and Frank Lampard didn't have any of that. They couldn't get promoted, so I don't rate him as a manager. Obviously, he was a very, very good player when he played, but good players don't always make good managers, and this could be his sort of death nail in getting top jobs in the future. Because you had the chance at Chelsea, Everton, you just kept them up last season, and the amount of money that Everton has spent has been astronomical. They've spent a lot of money. They're getting a brand new stadium the season after next, and I heard an Everton fan on the on some sort of fan forum saying they could have the best season in the best stadium in the Championship. That's basically where they're going to be at. So yeah, they're an absolute shit state right now. So perfect team to play, and yeah, fully confident in us getting through and beating them.
Well, I'm sure as United fans, there's a lot of stuff we can kind of resonate with Everton, with the money that's been spent on ridiculous players, and the stadium situation, which I know Everton are investing in the stadium, but given the circumstance that's going on at the minute, they have spent absolute just terrible. I think 750 million.
Yeah,
they've spent since 2016.
He bought players like 50 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson off the back of one good season at Swansea. Yeah. Alex Iwobi for 40 million. They brought back Theo. They brought Theo Walcott, and he's been carted off back to
Walcott.
Yeah, he's been carted off back to Southampton. They've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's their only good player, and he can't stay fit. Can't stay fit. Yeah. So.
Focusing a little bit more on us, Chivit. Ten Hag got asked about trophy targets in the presser. He said, "I don't think about that. It's in the stage of this season. You are not looking at it. We have together into a position you can win something, and I know the season is taking long, especially with such long games ahead. Is this a trophy you'd like to get your hands on?"
Any trophy will do, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's important. Well, it's not imperative, but it would really help the team if we get our hands on the trophy. Guardiola I think he got the League Cup in his first season.
Yeah.
And they kind of built up for that. Arteta got the FA Cup or something. What trophies does is that it kind of helps. It builds the team up. It kind of builds that. That's why when we won the Europa League and the Carling Cup with Jose Mourinho, immediately he went through when you walk through the halls in Carrington, and he replaced some of the images on the walls with the 99 squad, and then he replaced it with recent pictures of them winning the Europa League, so that they see this every day and they have that belief that they're champions, and and apart from it helps the profile of the club. We haven't won anything for 5 years. Anything will do. I'm more than happy with winning that. Bro, if we get to play the Johnson Saint Trophy, whatever, what's it called?
Papa John's Trophy.
Johnson, yeah, that trophy. Anyone would do, especially the FA Cup, which is a prestigious cup to win. So it would be good for Ten Hag to win that. It will help with he helps everything, sponsors, confidence. Yeah. I'm more than happy. It's just really dicey at the moment because we have to balance winning a trophy with top four. If I have to choose one, I definitely choose top four.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't downplay the importance of winning silverware.
It just gives you that platform to go off on it. I remember, obviously with Ole, when we got to the final of the Europa League, you felt like that was the next stage then to kind of break that team into that kind of bracket where they are winners, and a lot of them have won stuff. Because if you go through our squad, obviously now with players that we bought like Casemiro, Lissandro has obviously won Eredivisie, and Varane's already won World Cups, etc. But a lot of them, like Maguire, Lindelof, Shaw, I know he's won a League Cup and Europa League, but apart from that, they haven't won many things basically within the squad trophies around there. So I think adding something to the trophy cabinet in Ten Hag's first season would give him incredible confidence, and we can kind of build off that platform.
It gives Ten Hag gravitas to spend as well in the future. If the new owners come in, it's like he's won stuff with this team. So if you back him even more, think what else he could win a league, he could win a Champions League, etc. So it gives him more gravitas in future sort of negotiations and spending in terms of a new ownership and that.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like he's certainly taking it serious anyway, even with this game against Everton tomorrow night. The way he's been speaking about trophies, saying he wants to win, it's definitely important. So he's going for every trophy possible. And obviously that starts with Everton tomorrow. United have actually played the Toffees 12 times in FA Cup history, both clubs winning 6 games apiece. And as we alluded to before, there was obviously the game in the semi-final, was it, with Martial when he scored in there? And then they actually won a semi-final against us in 2009 when they went on to lose to Chelsea in the final, and they beat us. So we've had 6 apiece, very even when it comes to the head-to-head. Who's available for injury, you say? Donny van der Beek went off with a bad injury on Tuesday. He'll be sidelined for a bit. Looked like a very bad tackle, hyperextension of the knee. Not ones you want to see back, really. Twan Zabi's back on the grass, I believe, training. Sancho should be returning soon, but there weren't any. I don't think there's any questions about that today, unless I missed it. I watched the press, so no one asked about him, which was strange.
Ten Hag probably said beforehand, didn't he? Say, Sancho's not back, so don't ask.
Maybe. Yeah. For the opposition, our former player James Garner is out for them with a back injury. Townsend, Patterson are out, and Anthony Gordon may be out with illness as well. So a couple of injuries for both sides there. Chivy, just on the squad depth, does that worry you when we're going for all these competitions at the same time? Did you think we will get caught lacking a little bit with that?
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day as well. We're one injury away from disaster. If we lose, if we lose Rashford, there's a problem. If we lose Casemiro, like in every department, basically, is what I'm trying to say. In the defense, in the midfield, and in the attack, Rashford is on blistering hot form at the moment. If we lose him, I mean, the drop off is massive. If Sancho isn't back, if we lose him, it's Garnacho or Elanga, like that. Like that's not, Then if we go to the midfield, if we lose Casemiro,
just to interrupt you there, Chivet. I was at the quadrant side, so the east stand in the last game against Bournemouth, and when the player went down, everyone was saying it's Casemiro, and I was like, oh no, we are fucked. We're absolutely fucked. Obviously, I don't want any of the players to get injured, but I thought it was Casemiro at the time, and I was like, we are absolutely fucked if
we lose
out.
him. Yeah, if we lose him, we're back to the Man United that played. Yeah. So if we lose him, like there's no like replacement for him for what he does. I mean, we can have Scott McTominay to defend and all that, but there's no one to take the play, to have the vision, the range of pass, and everything. If we lose that, and then if we lose either of Varane or Martinez, we're looking at you know what we're looking at there. So it's yeah, the squad depth. I mean, we're playing really good now, but then that's all that needs to happen. One injury, one major injury to one of our special players in all the departments, and yeah, it could be season defining for us. So we really need to work on our squad depth, and I'm going to will it into existence and say that's why we need Frankie De Jong to come.
Don't. Why are you joining in on this? What, Chivy? Don't encourage him. Don't like.
He's
What are
coming,
we
man.
on?
He's coming.
We're on January 6th and we're already starting with this shit.
I
Yeah, it's
don't
not-
care.
No.
He's coming. Anyway, but yeah, so that's how I see the squad depth at the moment. It's very, very dicey. Same thing with Arsenal. But a team like City that's so deep doesn't matter.
Yeah. World class players in every position,
Yeah,
innit?
everywhere.
You've seen it in a minute. Foden can't even get a game. He's playing Mahrez and Grealish over him. Like, so he can afford to do that with the players that he've got. We lose Rashford. We're fucked, basically. We've got to rely on youngsters and stuff. So absolutely, I agree with that. Just on the De Jong thing as well. Do you know what I'm going to be like when we sign him? Do you know? Have you seen the film Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey? Do you know he's crying at the TV?
Yeah.
He's sat at the chair crying. That's why, like Jimmy was with Marshall when he scored. That's what I'm going to be like with De Jong signs.
Yeah, honestly.
Finally.
Yeah. The amount of like lives that Nick's gonna do by himself when De Jong is just gonna be just on YouTube 24 hours a day.
All day on a loop.
It's
On a
just-
loop. Absolutely.
Oh,
Can you
God.
blame me? Sam, how serious are you taking this FA Cup?
Yeah, really seriously. Like Chivy said, the trophy's a trophy, man. Like, get a trophy under Ten Hag. Like, I'm all for it. If the guy can win a trophy in his first season, it just adds to his stature. He's already turned this team around. I know Chivy was saying he's worried about if certain players get injured, but he heavily rotated against Bournemouth. Like, our defence was the defence that was under Ollie, wasn't it? Like, it was Maguire, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka and Shaw. And under Ollie, that was terrifying. Like, that was utterly terrifying. And under Ten Hag, it looked all right. I know it's just Bournemouth. I know Bournemouth are not a great team. They're not playing well, etc. I know that, but like, it looked all right. It looked decent. And he took a risk there. It could have not paid off for him, and it could have gone really, really wrong. And we could have ended up at like a 0-0 draw or even a loss, etc. So he took a risk. So it shows we can rotate if needed against sort of lower teams, like, no offense to Bournemouth, but I think he might do it against Charlton next week as well. I think that he might do it there because obviously we've got City and Arsenal coming up, so he's going to want his strongest 11 fit for that. And he might do it here as well. He might rotate a couple here. I just did want to point out as well, in the league, we've got the most chances created in the entire league, and it just shows the importance of us needing a striker in this team, because if we get a striker and we start putting those chances away, mate, we're blowing teams away. We're blowing teams out of the fucking water. So, yeah, we need a striker so badly. And like Chivy said, if Rashford is the only guy scoring consistent goals at the minute, if he falls off or he gets injured, it's going to be a problem scoring goals. A serious problem.
Yeah. Given how we've been playing, Chivy, do you expect a tough game when we play Everton tomorrow? I know they're in a bit of a melting pot in a minute in the Premier League, but every time we've played them, especially at Old Trafford last season, when they nicked a draw off us and Fred got monstered on the side by Damari Gray. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but he got mauled basically and ended up going up the other end and scoring. Do you expect? What type of game do you expect tomorrow?
So the results have been really good for us, but we haven't been 100%, to be honest. Like, even Ten Hag said it after the game, the press conference, he was like, there's still a lot that we need to do. I mean, that game could have been 6 or 7-0, the one we played. Like, there were so many times when we had the ball in attack, when we were trying to catch them on the counter, and there's options, and then we're just making the wrong decisions all the time.
Yeah.
Now, if we were in a situation where it was 0-0, or if we were goal down, we can't be having that. Like, we need our players to be more switched on. Then
needs to be clinical. Clinical is the word, isn't it?
Exactly. And then for all the good work that Luke Shaw did, like, he was amazing yesterday. He still had a few deficiencies in defense. There were 2 crosses that he allowed come in.
Yep.
And one of them was that save that crazy save. Like, that cross should not have been coming in. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, when he tries to loop,
gave the ball away, didn't he? Like, straight to him.
What are you doing? Yeah. And then he does that, and then so it's fine margins. So yes, we're playing really well, but I just hope that we're a lot more disciplined, and when we come up, because they're fighting for their lives. Frank Lampard is fighting for his life, and it's one of them ones where if they score first and then we take it to halftime, it could get really edgy, probably come out. So we need to really go in and assert ourselves. I think we have the quality to put them away.
Do you think he'll go strong on that? Sorry to think. Do you think he'll go strong tomorrow?
Well, I think he'll play. I think he'll play Varane and Martinez, at least one of them, because they need to get match fitness.
Yeah.
So I think he might play them and then rest them for Charlton, so that they're ready for City and Arsenal. So I think that's what he might do. And it's the FA Cup. I don't think he'll be as. I don't think he'll rest too many players. I think we might go strong on this one because the players would have a whole week to rest before the next Premier League game, and then he'd have. That's why it's really sad that Donny went, because Donny would have played a big role in this, playing Charlton and Everton and that. But yeah, I think we have enough quality to put them away, especially if we score first. The crowd will get on it. They'll lose their confidence is rock bottom at the moment. So if they concede first, it will be really hard for them to do, to kind of build back up. And the style of football that we play now, where we keep the ball, they kind of get more frustrated from not having it. So yeah, I think we can do a good job. I just don't want us to be complacent. I just don't want that.
And Sam, I'm going to come to you on rotation in a second, but I like that point that Severe made. Sorry. I keep doing that, man. But yeah, I like the point you made about Luke Shaw, because I've seen loads of people raving about him after the game, and I agreed with a lot of stuff they were saying.
Yeah.
What he did for the goal was amazing.
Even the last goal, like he made.
Yeah, the ball to Bruno
was
Fernandes,
fantastic,
sensational. But like I said, I was on that side, so in the second half where the defence line was in front of me. And he kept getting caught on that left-hand side. It was like three times where they got him behind. And I was like, that's just like, I don't know if you're tired or if it's just a lapse in concentration. But I was saying to my mate at the time, I was like, you need to bring Malacia on because he looks knackered.
Yeah.
Like, he's not keeping up with the pace.
He'll not be making that cross. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, and if that's against Man City or something like that, you get punished and they're straight back in the game. Just because it's Bournemouth, that's probably why it didn't happen. But yeah, what about yourself, Sam, for tomorrow? Rotation of players. Do we bring in the big boys for this? Rotate for Charlton and then the big boys again for City? Like, how would you manage it?
I think Chivy's right. I think that we'll see a few guys like either Varane or Martinez come in, just so they can get, because obviously Lissandro's not played, barring the cameo he had against Bournemouth for the last sort of couple of minutes. He's not played for us, so I think he'll probably get a game. Of Varane's he's had one full game since he's come back. Varane.
Yeah.
So Varane.
One or two.
Is it one?
No, I'm thinking, is it 2 games or?
It might have been 2 games.
Well,
maybe
he
2.
didn't play against Burnley, did he? He didn't play against. We played Wolves, Forest.
He's played 2 games. He's played 2. So he played Nottingham, and I think didn't he play Wolves?
Wolves. It might have been, yeah.
So yeah, he'll need some game time as well. So I won't be surprised to see one or both of them. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka probably stays in the team. Because I don't know how fit Dallo is, because I think he's just started training like this week, so maybe he gets a run out against Charlton. It's like it's a less pressure game, gets his minutes underneath him. Maybe that's when he sort of plays him. You can't drop Casemiro, like you just can't. Like the guy is just absolutely flying at the minute, so I don't see him being dropped against Everton. Maybe against Charlton, he might rest him. I'm not sure, but I think against Everton, you have to play Rashford. You have to play Martial. You have to play because we don't have anybody else, so he's pretty much in the team. Bruno probably plays as well because he's our captain, and then Eriksen. He looked a little knackered. Like he's played well. Like in the first half, he's played well. Some really good passing. He got the assist obviously for the goal. So I could see him being rotated, maybe a guy at Scott McTominay, maybe Fred comes in. I'd love to see Zidane Iqbal or somebody like that come in. That would be fantastic. I don't see it happening, but it would be great if it happened. And then the right-hand side is a problem. It's a problem, man. Do you keep playing Anthony? Because he wasn't even on the bench, was he, against...
no, he had a bit of a knock, didn't he?
So he wasn't even on the bench. So is he fit? And if he is fit, he's not in form. He's not playing well at all. So it's like, do you play him through this, or do you stick Rashford out on the right and then bring Garnacho in on the left? Do you do that, or do you bring Ilanga in, who again hasn't looked great at all? Like, he's not looked great. So it's the right hand side's a problem. That's a serious problem. So that'd be the area I sort of worry about who you play in that area. But yeah, I think he goes fairly strong, but you might see a few little changes here and there just to sort of rest players ready for the upcoming massive games. And then, yeah, full rotation against Charlton.
Yeah. It is a weird one with the attacking options at the minute because there's not anyone who's really nailing down the place apart from Rashford. I think if we had another striker, I don't think necessarily Martial would be playing there all the time. I think he plays there a lot because he's the only guy, really. But he's been okay, don't get me wrong. He's not exactly lit it up, but he's done all right. But Rashford was someone that Ten Hag was speaking about today, and he said it doesn't matter if he is in the game or not. Keep focusing on scoring the goal. I think a player like Marcus and Anthony Martial, they always have the skills in one moment to change the game. It feels like we're talking about Marcus Rashford every single week. Some people saying, he's in the form of his life. But for me personally, I've seen him go through purple patches before. For you, is it more about maintaining that consistency now for him over the next couple of years to really cement himself as that top player amongst other world-class players, you know what I mean?
Yes, I think he's on the cusp of it. Especially if you listened. Well, we all heard what Casemiro said about Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
To ESPN Brazil, to say that he was actually shocked to see him this way. And I've heard it quite a few times. I'm sure I heard it under Ragnick and probably under Ole as well. But I might be wrong. But I know that Rashford trains really well. So in training, he's amazing. He's absolutely killing it on training. And then, but when we get on the pitch, it's a different story. It's not as consistent. That just tells me that it's possibly a mental thing. And once that can be worked out, there's no stopping Rashford. I think that he has, for a player like that to have all the tools, the athleticism, the abilities and everything, he just needs the proper coach. Rashford never really got a real coach, it was Louis van Gaal, and then it was Moyes, and then it was Ragnick and Carrick. So he hasn't really had a coach to actually focus on him, in my opinion, like a real proper coach. This is the first time he has a modern coach, one of the new, like a next generation sort of coach to coach him, and he's installed all the confidence that I really wanted to have, because I was losing my patience with Marcus Rashford. But I think he has the tools to do it. One big indicator of that is that he comes in clutch. Like when you need him, he's a big game player. I think he scored against every big team in the league.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Everyone. He scored against Arsenal, Chelsea,
PSG.
Whoever.
The penalty against PSG, the balls. You have to do that, man.
England. He's clutch.
Hat trick against Leipzig as well when he came on and just.
He's clutch. So that's these. This is how you tell like big game players, like real, and I think he's one of them ones that a little bit more development. I think we'll be seeing a lot from him, a lot more from him really, and I'll do everything to keep him. I was one of those people like I gave him. I said this is the last season. After this, if PSG comes in, we should cash in. But nah, I'm more than happy. Honestly, I've seen something different there, man.
No, a lot of people were like that. I remember in the summer, numerous people I've spoken to, like, sell him to PSG, get rid of him, take the 60, 70 mil now.
Yeah.
But I think I've definitely seen enough from him this season where I'm like, yeah, if he continues in his vein of form, I think he's on 7 goals, 4 assists, something like that, 12 in all comps. Yeah. Like, he's doing really, really well, but he needs to stay on that track and keep doing it now. He can't go off, have a bad run for 5-6 games, and then it's the same kind of, you know what I mean? The same kind of thing again. So hopefully he continues on that track. And another player who Ten Hag mentioned in that quote there, Sam, was Anthony Martial. I thought again in the Bournemouth game, relatively quiet, had some nice touches, link-up play was really nice. But it's becoming more and more obvious for me, and we need a striker. Would you agree with that statement? And who are you going for as the window develops? Because you've got names now coming out like Depay, Choupo-Moting, Yao Felix is still a name that's out there, but apparently that's too expensive. So where do we go?
Yeah, I'm not Marshall FC as Chivy is. I know he's president and founding member. I think the guy has got talent. Like, he's got some serious talent. It's just injuries and consistency has always been his issue. And I know Chivi says like he's not had a proper run. He's always been misplaced by like the likes of Zlatan and Ronaldo, etc. And I get that. And for me, he's got this season. Like, this is his season, because I don't think we're bringing a striker in. Personally, I don't think it happens in January. So it's going to be Martial or Rashford up front for United the rest of the season. So he has this season to prove himself. Like I said, we've created the most chances out of anyone in the league. So he needs to start delivering and scoring consistent and a lot of goals. Like, he's not been terrible. He's not been awful by any stretch of the imagination. But he's just not been... Like, he's not hitting the levels that Rashford's hitting right now. Rashford's like starting to ascend, and Martial just seems to be about hearing him, and he's middling along. He's not quite firing yet.
Can I just say one thing? That Martial hasn't played 90 minutes. He's always going off after, because what Ten Hag was saying was, or at least the last time that he took him off, was like he tries to keep him because that's our only striker. So he always tries to rest him. So he hasn't had 90 minutes. I get your point 100%, but he hasn't completed a game of football. He's always off after maybe the 70th or the 75th minute. So it's a bit... I get it with fans, and we haven't really seen that. There was a header that was like a clear cut, sort of like a clear cut chance that he had, and I think there was the other game. There was another header or something, but there hasn't been.
There was that ball from Casemiro that he should have scored.
That's
like
one,
that's
like
on
header.
a plate. That's on a plate. Like, if you're not scoring
that's
that's...
defenders. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that he hasn't played a full game of football. Since he's always off at like the 75th minute. So yeah, I kind of get it. Even me, I need more from him. And for example, that ball, a player like Crespo, I remember Crespo for Chelsea. Yeah. Crespo would be hidden for 89 minutes, and he just needs that one chance.
Yeah.
And then that's it, and then it's in. So you'd be like, is he even playing? And he just... So we need Martial at that level. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm also just saying that he hasn't had full...
Yeah. I know we're being linked to a João Felix, but the valuation on the loan fee is like, we want to pay 4 and they want 14, which is ridiculous, by the way. 21 they want. Jesus Christ, they're absolutely out of the
That's
minds.
euros, though, isn't it?
Is that euros?
Yeah. Oh,
40 million pound, yeah.
Already.
Yeah, so that's going to be a tricky deal to do. Choupo-Moting's been mentioned, Depay's been mentioned. The Ajax guy, I forget his name now, Mohamed. Yes, he's just came out today that there's like stuff about him, but Ajax want about 25 million. We're not paying 25 million for him, and you know what Ajax are like. You're going to pay way more than 25 million.
They ain't going to sell us anyway. Like, they fucking hate us at the minute.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So like, it is what it is. So I don't think we sign anybody personally. I don't think it happens, and I think we just have to rely on Martial and Rashford for the rest of the season. That's how it's going to be. And if we keep creating the amount of chances we do, we should be all right. But just think what we could do if the Glazers got their fat hands in their pockets and invested and gave us a striker. Might be able to challenge for a title, man.
Again, but you're not slightly surprised, are you, that they're not?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You just knew it was coming. But you look at all the teams around us that are investing. Obviously, Liverpool, as we know as United fans, Cody Gakpo. Chelsea, I don't know. I think talks are broken down with Enzo Fernandez at the minute, but they was looking to invest heavily in January to go get him.
They just bought Badashir from, is it Monaco?
Badashir, there's a lot of teams around. Arsenal.
They're trying to hijack. They want to hijack the Mudryk deal from Arsenal.
Yeah. Arsenal looking at Mudryk and looking at João Felix's name that's been linked with them as well. So what are we doing, man? We want to go for top 4. You're letting every competitor around you invest, and then so what happens to us? Do we just rely on who we brought in, Jack Butland? Like, is that our business done and dusted? Like, it's ridiculous. How many times has this happened with like Igalo, where we go out last minute loan and like these kind of things? I'd be happy if we go get João Felix. That one for me makes more sense because there's no obligation to buy. He can come in, he'd do a job. I believe he'd secure us that top spot, and he's fluid. He can play in a number of positions. I think it'd be perfect for us. But we go and get like a Depay, let's say for example, who's not a bad player, but he has a lot of injuries. He has injury issues, things. or you go get a Choupo-Moting. You're not guaranteed that they can do a job there, but they're not guaranteed to get that amount of goals that you need to get you over the line. So it's frustrating, man. And I just feel like towards the end of January, it's going to be a Choupo-Moting or it's going to be a Depay, the way it's going at the minute, on loan. And that might not even be on loan. We might sign them for like a couple of years, 2-3 years, and then they're just here then kind of floating about, because when the new owners come in, invest a lot of money, we go buy an actual striker, and all these players, they get put down pecking order then, and then they become another player.
And then we struggle to sell them like we do with every other player that just falls out of favour.
It's rinse and repeat. Like it's really frustrating. I suppose the one silver lining you can get out of that is by the time we get to the summer, the Glazers won't be here. The new owners will be. They'll probably invest quite a lot of money in the summer. What pieces of the puzzle in that squad, lads, would you add, or what do we need to add to really compete at the top, do you think?
Striker is number one. It's number one priority. We need a 20-plus goal striker a season. We need that in the team, and that should be number one. Right back, obviously.
Sorry to cut you in there, Sam. Do you think age profile is important on that striker?
Oh, definitely, yeah, because there's stuff about people talk about Harry Kane, and it's just like, he's 30, he's going to be 31 next year. This is another, no doubt he's a quality player, good striker, great strike rate in the Premier League, but he's 31, he's going to be 31 next year. You're going to get, 2-3 years out of him, and you're probably going to pay a premium.
Casemiro's 30.
Yeah, but strikers are very different, aren't they, to midfield? Like, you could play in midfield to 36, 37, like we've seen it happen. Yeah. Striker, about 33, 34, the wheels fall off completely. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, like Ronaldo and Zlatan, for example. But most strikers, like you saw what happened to Rooney, he had to be moved back because he couldn't sort of do it anymore. So I think it's an exception to the rule. A right back, I think Wan-Bissaka's done himself the world of the good in terms of getting himself in the shop window. I know Crystal Palace and Wolves are sniffing around, so I think he's although defensively he's very, very good, I don't think he offers what Ten Hag wants going forward in a fullback. So I think he's probably gone. So we need a backup right back or competition for Dalot. You need a centre back because I think Maguire's gone in the summer. I think he's done. I think he's not coming back from this. He's been ill.
He'll go as well, won't he?
He's been ill twice, and he's played Luke Shaw at centre back. He's not, but he's on the bench. So he's too ill to play, but he's all right to be on the bench. And you're playing Luke Shaw at centre back. Writing's on the wall, my friend. Like, you're gone. So centre back, and then obviously the big hole, we need a backup / replacement for Casemiro, because obviously, like you said, Casemiro's 30. How are we gonna replace him? De Jong might be an option, etc. And then we probably need a Bruno backup / somebody to compete with him as well, because Donny's not working. I don't know why they keep playing him in the 10. He's not a 10. Doesn't work in the 10. Stop playing him in the 10. Just doesn't work.
I have a theory for that.
Go.
And I think Ten Hag doesn't fancy Bruno Van de Beek.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
If you look at everyone that's left, he played them out of position. But he played the players he liked.
Bruno, I don't know what you're on about, because he played Bruno out of position on the right.
Yeah, no. So, like, remember when he played, he kept playing, what's his name? The guy at Seville.
Tellez.
Left back.
Tellez.
Yeah, Tellez, yeah. He played him everywhere apart from left back. Played him centre back, played him in the midfield. played him everywhere, and then he was like, yeah, go on. Like, you know, he plays the players he likes in the position. Well, he plays Bruno in the that's circumstantial. That's when there's an injury, we don't have this, or, because we didn't have Martial.
Or Antony, on the right.
Yeah, we didn't have Martial, so yeah. Like,
also, Bruno, I think if you asked Bruno to play in net, he probably would. Like, he's that kind of guy, isn't he? So.
Yeah, but he played there because we didn't have other options to play. You know, he'd rather play, instead of playing like Elanga or whatchamacallit. But I think him playing Donny van de Beek in the 10 continuously, I don't think he fancies in there.
Well, can I pick it at that point, though? Because he says that Donny van de Beek's best qualities are arriving late in the box to score. Yeah. So surely, if you're going to play off someone's best qualities, you're going to play him in a 10, if that is his best qualities, right?
That could be another. Yeah, that could be another angle. That could be another way. Because I remember him saying that his best quality is arriving.
Yeah. Is a thing with the versatility as well throughout the squad. I believe that you've seen Luke Shaw playing. I touched on this last night when I did the show. Luke Shaw playing as a centre back there. Like an example, Lissandro's out for the Barcelona game. He's suspended, so he's going to need an option there. The left-footed defensive players are really important there. So he's going to probably draft him in for that game. It's nice to have an option there, and you keep the squad morale much better when you have players you could play. So that's why Pep does it all the time with City. Look at all the players they have. Foden, Bernardo Silva can both play in the midfield. Akanji, Ake can play at right back, can play at centre back. Gundogan can play a number of positions. Same with Kevin De Bruyne. So it's so important to have that versatility across the pitch when you have big injuries like this, or you need a certain player playing in that position for tactical reasons. So I believe that it's probably a reason. That's one of the reasons why he does it. But you could be right as well. I don't have a clue. Only Erik ten Hag truly knows. With Donny van de Beek. But look, I don't think it's working with him. I thought he was all right. But the thing that kept ringing in my head when I was watching his performance, it was steady Eddie. Steady Eddie. That was what was ringing through my head. He just got on with it. Like, he didn't really impact the game, but then he weren't really like terrible.
I think he's not built for the Premier League, is he? Like he's not up for the physical challenge. I think in Ajax he looks so good because the Eredivisie is very, very different. And the Champions League, again, very high level competition, but I think it's very different to the Premier League. I think there's a different melding of styles. You can get away with certain things in the Champions League that you can't necessarily do in the Premier League, which is why the Premier League teams have dominated the Champions League the last couple of years. It's always been like Liverpool, City in the final, Chelsea, etc. So I think he's a very good player, but I think the challenge of the Premier League is a bit too much for him. Also, I think because it's just been shit for him the entire time he's been here. I think his confidence and his mentality is just fucked. It's gone. It's gone completely.
That's I think that's what it is as well. Because I think he has the skill set to be able to perform here. It's just styles of play. It's just because McTominay is really good at what he does, and Van de Beek isn't physical enough to play that position the way Ten Hag wants to play it. But yeah, we could go on about Donny for ages.
Yeah, I don't think that injury is going to help his confidence much at all, is it, as well? Being off the sideline for another 4 or 5 months. Yeah, God knows what's going to happen with him this summer. We'll wait and see what happens with that. Just on that question that I did throw to Sam, which feels about 20 minutes ago now. What piece of the puzzle do we need to add to the squad? What do you think we need?
I would also agree. We need a striker, definitely. We definitely need midfield, and we need a number. I wasn't even thinking of this until Sam mentioned it, but I think we need competition for Bruno.
But you've mentioned that before, right? You said that.
Yeah. We need competition. Like, Bruno needs to know that he doesn't have liberty to just it's about like. And I believe that's why Anthony was dropped, because he's played really. Ten Hag doesn't seem to have favorites, to be honest. Like, we all thought like Malacia and the rest of them would be his favorites. Malacia had one bad game and and the next game he had like a half where he played really bad, and that was
pulled him off at half time, didn't he? Half time he was like, "You're fucking done." We didn't
see him again for 2 games, and Luke Shaw came. So we need stuff like that. We need those kind of rude awakenings in the players. So I would say a striker, possibly a playmaker-ish sort of midfielder, and a right back, definitely, because this is the best time to make some money. We can sell Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire and make a little bit of cash, and then and so get a right back, and then get like a young centre back. There's rumours of that Antonio Silva at Benfica. He's like a really young centre back, but he's highly rated. Like,
haven't seen much of him, I have to be honest.
I haven't seen him, but the Portuguese. When I heard about him, you know me, I like to do all my little snooping and investigating, and then
due diligence.
All the journalists in Portugal are just going crazy over this kid.
What's his release clause? About 200 million. Like really all the other Benfica players.
No, yeah. Thankfully, he didn't go to the World Cup. So, because if he went, then that would have been,
Yeah.
So yeah, centre back, right back, some sort of creative midfielder and a striker.
Yeah, I think the summer's going to be proper interesting, man. When it comes
because,
to transfers,
guys, I hate to see that bench whenever the squad, and then we see like just names, man, just football manager names, them
regens.
I get it. Yeah. Let's hope for the future. See what happens. I don't think very bleak in January, but the summer should be much brighter, hopefully. Let's do quick fire questions. Back to the game tomorrow. How many goals will we score?
2.
Against Everton, I'm gonna go. I got it right last time. I said 3, and we scored 3. Everton. I'm gonna go 3.
I'm gonna one up you. I'm gonna go 4. I'm just going 4 goals tomorrow.
Marshall likes to score against Everton.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, a good goal as well at Old Trafford last season. Very good goal. That was actually, I think it was his last goal before he went on loan to Sevilla, I believe. I think. Yeah. Where we at? Oh yeah. Any surprise selections for tomorrow that you would include?
I don't think so. I don't see anybody like Hinik Bal or Charlie Savage. I don't see anybody like that getting in. I'd like to see it, but I don't.
What about like a McTominay, or obviously without going into the squad too much?
Yeah, I maybe see Ericsson, and then McTominay or a Fred, saying like that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice. I think you could probably see that, and then you could maybe see a certain surprise on the right, but I don't know who. I don't know who you would put on the right, because you're struggling to think there. Shout out to
Sancho Batman.
Shout out to Dave Lewis in the chat. He is the boyfriend of a girl I work with, and his score prediction is 3-1. So cheers, Dave. Appreciate it.
Not a bad shout. Chive, what about yourself? Any surprise selections?
It's hard to have any surprise. I mean, our squad is literally just
surprise, motherfucker.
Some fries, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker.
School supplies, motherfucker.
I think the main surprise we saw was Luke Shaw in the centre back and Casemiro in the centre back. I don't see any of that happening for Everton. I don't think we're going to get that many. Too much of a surprise. Probably Scott McTominay coming in or something. It won't be more than that.
Yeah, that's fair. Will Marcus Rashford score again?
Yeah.
Ones to watch on Everton's team. Anyone who worries you individually on their team?
Anthony Gordon's out, isn't he?
He was ill in the last game. Whether he might be back for this.
Calvert-Lewin's out still.
No.
Is he back?
Calvert-Lewin's playing. Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin's playing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He could be a problem. And then I
Did
think
he play in the last game?
Calvert-Lewin did, yeah.
Yeah. What? Really?
Against Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're fucked.
they're fucked. Yeah, and then obviously Jordan Pickford always likes a worldie against us, doesn't he? He always likes to fucking actually put on a show and save every single thing we put at him. So that might be a worry trying to score goals against him. People. Aaron is in the chat. Guess what player he's picked out? I'll give you one guess.
For Everton?
Yeah. Who's from Sligo?
You said Aaron. Is it Adam or Aaron?
Adam.
Oh, Seamus Coleman.
Yeah.
Seamus
Coleman.
Seamus Coleman.
He's from Sligo, so Adam has picked him out, obviously.
The 35-year-old right back. So it's called Dammy.
It's Adim, not Adam.
Adim, sorry.
Yeah, Adim. Oh yeah, Adim, and double Aaron as well. Is he in the chat? Or is he not in the?
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's in the chat.
Double Aaron as well.
Yeah, so there's a couple of shouts for Damari Gray as well.
Damari Gray, because he had that worldie against Chelsea, and I think he scored the consolation against. He had the worldie against City, and he scored the consolation against Brighton. I think.
Yeah.
Was it him?
I think so. Was it a deflection? It was a deflection, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he made it.
Yeah.
It was, it was Damari Gray. Yeah.
Lewis Jackson. Lewis Jackson is not a fan of Donny, by the way. He's saying it's a good job Donny's injured. He's shite. So. Just thought.
Fair enough. Casemiro, man of the match again tomorrow, if he does play.
Might as well. Just give it him now. Fuck it. Might as well, aren't we? Just give it him now.
What? Very quick, Claire. What about the player of the month who deserves it in your eyes?
Casemiro.
Okay. Over Saka, Ødegaard, these kind of guys.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to Ødegaard. Like they are, because Arsenal are the darling team at the minute. Everybody's like raving about Arsenal, despite the fact that they drew 0-0 to Newcastle.
True.
Yeah. So yeah, they'll give it to Ødegaard, but Casemiro deserves it for me.
I don't know. I haven't really watched the rest of the other guys, so I'm not sure.
Oh, come on.
He's not watched Arsenal. He's not watched Arsenal.
Stop lying. Look at that smile. What a lie. He's done tactical analysis.
Yeah.
He's got a board in his room
Yeah.
where all the tactics are on. It's like, if you look how this how
He's
Arsenal
got-
sets up, the plans of play, the
He's
triangles.
He's got a dartboard with like Arsenal players on it. And he's
Yeah.
just fucking.
I think
Yeah.
Odegaard.
I think they might give it to Odegaard, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
they'll give it to him, but I think, come on, Casemiro definitely deserves it. Considering the fact that the man has played in the centre-back position since he came back. He's played there, and then he's played in the midfield. And the thing about Casemiro, I see he's always been compared to Thomas Partey.
I was just about to mention.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
fuck off.
No, I get it, because Partey's been amazing as well. But
How many Champions Leagues Partey got? Just remind me. Remind me of that.
No, seriously.
No?
I mean, just
Cool,
for argument's sake, I think
I'll wait.
For Casemiro, I mean, Partey plays with Xhaka, and they kind of like share defensive duties. But you've got Casemiro playing with Christian Eriksen. It's a much harder. I think if Casemiro plays in the Arsenal team, they'll be just as good. But if Partey played that role in our team, we'll be nowhere near as good as we are right now. So I think.
I agree.
So I think that's what kind of, because he's not just a defensive midfielder. He is, but he influences.
He scores goals. He sets goals up. He keep passing. Everything.
I would personally say him, but who knows?
Yeah, that's Thomas's party poop there by Javert. I like that there. Very nice. With that said, we've done quick fire questions. Let's do predicted 11s then. Sam, I'll allow you to go first on this one.
David De Gea. I think Aaron Bissaka keeps his place. I think you see Varane and Maguire, I think. Luke Shaw, left back. Casemiro, Scott McTominay, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, and then I'm struggling for the right-hand side, honestly. I think he might play Elanga. Just because,
Anthony Elanga.
yeah, just for a little bit of rotation. Yeah, that I'll go with that.
Whoa, it's Elanga.
Lewis Jackson is saying, why are you talking about Casemiro and Partey in the same sentence?
Yeah, one of them's got 5 Champions Leagues. One of them's got a dodgy accusation. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it wasn't me, Lewis. It's the internet.
Yeah.
Similar to what my team would be very similar to Sam's. And I think, on the midfield, he's going to do either Casemiro and McTominay.
Yeah.
Casemiro.
Casemiro, yeah. I don't think we'll see Casemiro and Eriksen play together. They might start, but anyway, let me just go with that. And then we'll have Rashford, Bruno, Anthony, and Martial.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Lisandro, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, Garnacho. That's what I think.
That sounds about right.
But I think either team, we'll get the job done, regardless, I think. Score predictions, lads, before we head off.
2-0.
Another 3-0.
You said 4. You said 4, didn't you?
4-0, yeah. Rashford again, probably a defender in there. Casemiro again, probably. God knows. As long as we get the job done through to the next round. So I think we go strong tomorrow, strongish, and then rotate for Charlton, and then strong against City. That's the way I think we're going to go about it. But let's see. Manchester United versus Everton in the FA Cup tomorrow. I will be doing a live watch-along for that. So make sure you tune in. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in today and got your comments in the comment section. Really appreciate the support. Let us know your score predictions in the chat as well, which way you see the game going. And if you want regular updates and clips from the channel, be sure to check us out on social media. All the graphics.
Handles.
Yeah, there we go. All the handles are at the bottom of the graphic, or just head to the link in the video description. Lads, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate the time.
Cheers. We've got no Premier League, so sort your Fantasy League team out this weekend, because obviously it's the FA Cup. So sort your Fantasy League team out, ready for next week. Get your shit sorted.
Speaking of that, do we get 2 wildcards?
Can someone clarify the chat, please? Lewis, you play Fantasy League.
I swear I used my wild card already, but then I've still got one.
I've used it. Yeah, I've got a wild card, yeah, so we've got another wild card.
Yeah. Is there a time limit on that? Like,
you'd have to have the Duracate as a FPL, mate. I don't have a clue.
Right.
No idea.
Yeah, so sort your Fantasy League out. So let's can you come with a retro shirt, courtesy of our thingy, our Nick. He's gonna go sort you out with a retro shirt. So yeah, go join that. We've had a lot of reels blow up recently and a lot of sort of good stuff. So keep that going. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. Follow the TikTok. TikTok's blowing up. It's big. New graphics, new stuff coming every week. So Chivy's improved his microphone. You can now hear his sexy voice very much clearer than ever before.
The Barry White fashion.
Yeah. So it's all going good, and it's only up from here. So yeah, appreciate everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you lads for coming on. We'll see you for the game tomorrow. I will be live on TikTok and YouTube for the watch along, so make sure you come and join me. 8 o'clock kickoff. I'll be live around 7 o'clock, something like that. See you then.
Peace.
We good, yeah?
Cool.
Not yet.
Yeah, I always get carried away and I forget it's a YouTube thing. I always feel like it's just 3 guys chatting about football.
Yeah, it does escape your mind at times. You get into like a deep discussion, you're like, oh shit, I've got to
Yeah.
I've got to then